guys, it's Tanishi and welcome back to Happy Health with Tanishi. Today we're going to be talking about 5 facts about the history of vaccines. Number 1. Variolation existed way before vaccines were invented. Variolation is when people deliberately infect themselves with the virus. In olden days, in Asia, people would blow dried smallpox scabs into the air or nostrils, and people would get mild smallpox infections from it. Individuals would recover and have immunity against smallpox. 1 in 100 would die from variolation versus 3 in 10 would die from contracting the smallpox virus naturally. In 1721, Lady Mary Wortley Montagu brought smallpox variolation to Europe. Number 2. The first vaccine. The term vaccine came from the Latin word for cow, vacca. Apparently so, because the first vaccine was developed by English physician Edward Jenner in 1796 from cows. He took samples from cowpox sores and inoculated humans who, after a brief period of sickness, showed immunity against human smallpox. This is how the first vaccine against smallpox was developed. More interesting details on the history can be found on the WHO website, the link in the description below. The first laboratory-developed vaccine was not until 1872, though, which was developed by Lewis for fowl cholera, and then in 1885 when Louis Pasteur successfully made vaccines to prevent rabies. Number 3. The first disease to be eradicated. The first deadly disease to be completely eradicated from the face of the earth was smallpox. Thanks to the many sacrifices and hard work of people over the centuries, the last natural case of smallpox was noted in 1977. Number 4. The pandemics and vaccines. In 1918, the Spanish flu pandemic came along, which killed an estimated of 20 to 50 million people worldwide. It was not until the 1930s when the influenza virus itself was identified and an effective vaccine against the so-called flu was developed and administered to people. It was after this pandemic when scientists and practitioners around the world declared a war against preventable viral diseases and came up with vaccines for polio, measles, mumps, rubella, and many others. Fast forward to the recent pandemic caused by the novel SARS-CoV-2, which we all know as the COVID pandemic. We all have lived through this pandemic and have experienced the fear and havoc of it. The COVID-19 vaccine came out in 2020. I'm vaccinated with it. Are you? Number 5. The future of vaccines. From the first practices of variolation to the newest mRNA vaccine against COVID, we have lost a lot of lives, learned a great deal, and have come a long way. Vaccines today protect us against more than 20 viral infections. We were able to eradicate deadly diseases like smallpox, polio, and control diseases from pneumonia to cervical cancer even through vaccines. According to WHO, child death has fallen by 50% due to vaccines, but we still have a long way to go. 1 in 5 children worldwide still goes unvaccinated. There are many myths and doubts about vaccines, and the only way to eradicate these is through knowledge. To learn about how vaccines work, stay tuned for my next video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow my Instagram link down in the description below. Thank you.